In this video, I'm going to attempt to drown out the cicadas with a mighty V6 engine and a very loud exhaust. Hard times. So yeah, this is perhaps the noisiest place I've ever tried recording a video, but nonetheless it's what we're with. We're here in Sydney. The car is absolutely plastered in dust. It was spotless this morning and then it rained. Dust storms, fires mean it's a bit muddy, but there you go. If you stand away from your TV sets on mobile phones, it probably looks all right. But this is the Alfa Romeo GTV, launched at the very end of 1995, styling by Pininfarina, gorgeous Italian styling and engine and everything. It is a fine looking car. I like it very much. It has the V6 24 valve engine, 3 litres, and yeah, one of the most remarkable cars of the 90s, I think. It was big scallop right up the side. And what I find interesting about this car is the styling was by Enrico Fumia, or something like that. I'm not very good on my Italian pronunciation, so sorry Enrico. In 1981 he penned Pininfarina rebody of the Audi Quattro, and you can see a lot of styling cues, including the headlamps and that deep seam, although on the Audi it carries on at the same level all the way around. So he dusted off that work and used it on the GTV instead. He got a little Alfa Romeo grille. It's about the time they were starting to reclaim their grille, and it's blended beautifully into the bonnet. The indicators and fog lights are in the bumper down below, so we just got the projector headlamps up here. Gorgeous, gorgeous colour. If I was any good at this, I'd probably know what colour it is, but it appears to be a Cloverleaf, which usually means better when it comes to Alfa Romeos. Very stylish. There was also a Spider. The Spider came out slightly earlier, but for my money the GTV is where it's at. I think it's the prettier of the two cars. You'll note we've got the strip of rear lights across the back, very much like an Alfa 164. I've owned a 164 with the V6 engine, so I know a bit about what we're going to enjoy today. There are no door handles, just this little scallop here for the fingers. Press and you're in. We've got frameless doors, which I probably should have lowered because it would look better and keep the interior cooler. And you can see we've got this amazing leather, very, very Italianate, extends to both front seats in the usual manner of a car having 2 front seats. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying myself. But we shall have a look behind the wheel, which I should have straightened fully for artistic reasons. Now it's slightly off and OCD is kicking in. But yeah, lovely 3-spoke steering wheel, very strongly hooded dials here. I don't know if you can see that. Got a bit of contrast going on. Rev counter to the right, minor switchgear. So I've chucked around fairly haphazardly. We've got air conditioning, chunky heater controls, which seem to do the job. Minor gauges over here for the fuel, clock and temperature gauge. It's not exactly comprehensive, but how much do you need to know, really? Yeah, I'd say that's a pleasing indicator noise. There is a glove box that contains much history, SRS airbags, and yeah, very, very nice. Dark up here perhaps, a beautiful slender, oh hello, sun visor, because the cant rail, if that's what you call it, in a convertible you would, is actually quite low, so you find yourself having to peer underneath to see traffic lights a bit, but that's okay, it could be worse. There is a fairly hefty clutch. Obviously we've got the Alfa Romeo logo on the pedals, and a somewhat clunky, not particularly sporty gear change. We've got mirror controls down here, headlamp adjustment for some reason here. That's like a Honda Prelude where it's almost behind you. And but yeah, very stylish. Some absolutely pointless rear seats that I have no intention of going anywhere near. The headliner does seem a little saggy, situation normal. Indicator stalks shared with the 164. They have a very nice action on them. I quite like them actually, and you can also apparently find them in a Lamborghini Gallardo, which is interesting, whereas this is shared with a Ferrari of some sort, even though it sounds horrible. That is utterly grim. I'm going to assume that's bonnet. I was wrong, that is not bonnet. Okay, we should go back up with that and lock that in place. That is steering wheel adjustment, and we shall wonder where the bonnet is. Must be a bonnet release here somewhere. Is it on the passenger side because it's foreign? I shall find it. No, the bonnet release, it turns out, is even further down the column in a place you will struggle to get your hand to. Speaking of which, I wonder where the release is for this. Is that it? Is there one this side as well? Oh, there we go. Oh, that was not it. That looks like a power steering pipe. And then we've got condenser for the aircon, radiator behind, and look at this. One of the most beautiful engines that has ever existed, the Alfa Romeo V6. Wouldn't want to do a cam belt on it. Yeah, twin banks, double overhead cam, and these gorgeous polished intake ports. Oh, and gaffer tape, because this is a HubNut road test. And now we can see the wipers in their full majesty as well. But yeah, quite an interesting looking car. And now you can see the headlamps are actually one piece, and the holes are merely on the bonnet. So that's how they work. So that's quite interesting. See if we can get in the boot. My guess is there isn't a button. So probably an internal release, you would have thought. Maybe in a sensible place like down here. Or maybe not. If you were Italian, where would you put the boot release? I mean, surely there is one. We've got fuel flap release there. Okay, well, I've got the key in my pocket because it's Italian and I don't trust it. So is there a key? Yes, I thought there might be. Hiding under here. Oh, there we go. A boot which is deep rather than long, and that's with a space saver spare wheel. So not the most generous of boot spaces. No rear wiper either. Oh, this is starting to go badly wrong already. Right, let's go for a drive instead, because I think you might like the noise. In fact, at the risk of upsetting all of the neighbours here, we shall... Yeah, I don't think this is an exhaust with much in the way of silencer action going on. Yeah, listen out. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. This is going to be so much fun. I think it's going to be fun. But the question is it actually fun? Turn the aircon down a bit, all the better to hear the engine. I think it might be fun. Let's go and see if it's actually fun. I mean, it's definitely loud, but it's loud fun in its own right. Really does sound quite pleasant, it must be said. Plenty of torque because it's huge engine in not very much car. Yeah, that speedo moves around the clock a little too swiftly, really, and yeah, I really want to see what this engine sounds like extended, but that isn't happening around here. Instead, you just get the vicious growl of an engine doing only 2,000 revs at 50 kilometers an hour in third gear. So has to be said, this car, and I've had a bit of a drive around in it already, is quite frustrating. The suspension is also rock hard. I don't like it. Not my sort of suspension. The steering is lovely, as I remember from my 164. But really, this is one of those cars, I think they're about 220 brake horsepower, and especially as the noise and the power is all very top-endy, you end up with a car you can't actually use in anger for fear of getting in terrible trouble. I think this road might be 60 kilometers an hour. Oh. So these cars, the GTV and the Spider, are the Type 916 Alfa Romeos. They do make oh, everyone's going that way, so let's try going this way and see what happens. Before I was so rudely interrupted by Italian opera under the bonnet there. Oh, crashy ride. Yeah, these are the Type 916, the GTV and the Spider. And the Spider came first. I think they were launched back end of 95, in full production for 96. And very well regarded cars, I think. The build quality is really very good for what you might expect from an Alfa Romeo. Oh! Which is good because it crashes its way over bumps like that. So you need the suspension to be, you need the build quality to be pretty decent. And it has to be said, these V6 engines are, A, they sound gorgeous, and B, they just deliver such beautiful power, which is important when Vauxhall Astras or Holden Astras pull out in front of you like that. Look at that marvellous piece of driving there. Spectacular. So yeah, my Alfa Romeo 164 was only the 12 valve engine. This is a 24 valve, and the problem is that 24 valve, it does give you more power, but it makes the engine much more top endy. So it really comes on song about 4,000 revs, by which time the scenery is usually getting quite blurry and the speed a bit naughty. And I'm here in Sydney, finding it very difficult to find decent roads. You go out to the countryside, it's all national park, and they make you pay for those national park roads, which is quite dispiriting, and then slap 80 km/h speed limits on them, which is very unsporting indeed, I would say. So trying to find some decent roads to actually use this car in anger is proving difficult, and that rather highlights the point with this car. I think it sounds, for all the world, like any of the best supercars. I don't believe there is a car on the market you can buy that sounds better than this car. It might seem a slightly bold statement, but nonetheless I'm sticking to it, and it sounds good when it's just growling along like that as well, at 1500 revs. While we're waiting in this traffic queue, I'll just operate the wipers. And you'll see we've got washers built into the blades, and wipers that park off the windscreen operate a little higher. I reckon that's taken straight out of a 164. Oh, any excuse to enjoy yourself. There is a slight triangle of doom, very slight, and I think with a fully wet windscreen it wouldn't happen at all, but we don't seem to get any dribble going on, so that's all good. But I suspect there's oh, that Bogan loved it in his Mitsubishi Magna. I guess yeah, if you've got a nice wet windscreen and you're not going to get any significant triangle going on. This was a really bad idea. Why the hell did I come this way? Yeah, everyone's getting away for the weekend. Long weekend. It's Australia Day on Sunday, and so Sydney's emptying apparently. And this was very much the wrong way to go. Well, I'm not sure I've felt that frustrated since I drove a Honda NSX, which interestingly makes a very similar, very beautiful noise. But yeah, I mean, what is the point of this car? I mean, it's very beautiful to look at, but around town it isn't very beautiful to drive, and I'm frankly not even sure why I'm bothering. But nonetheless, it's sitting here looking pretty, dropping some fluid I haven't yet identified on the ground, and yeah, I don't think HubNut is the place for driving cars like this, so I think frankly I'm just going to stop. So if you offer me a performance car to drive and I say no, this is why. I just can't give it a thorough test. I'm braking the urban speed limit in first gear. I haven't even used fifth, and and you know, even if I found faster roads, I still can't explore the potential of this car. So no, 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 this is the motto: less really is more when it comes to power. As pretty as this is, I would not really care to drive one ever again. I mean, I could listen to that noise all day, but that engine was fitted to a lot of different cars. You don't have to get a GTV, you don't have to put up with the crap practicality and awful ride. A 156 or even a 164 if there are any left. A much better way to enjoy that engine, I'd say. So there you go, that's a conclusion of sorts, isn't it?